Welcome to News Hour from the BBC World Service. I'm Rahul Tandon. Coming up, as night falls in Ukraine and the fighting intensifies, we'll take you to the capital, Kyiv, where people are asking for help from their Western allies.
We realize that NATO countries will not fight for us, but we just ask you to help us as much as possible.
We'll hear from our correspondent, Lise Doucette, in Kyiv very shortly. Many Ukrainians are staying in cities like the capital and are preparing to fight. The thousands have left, leaving queues of refugees in countries bordering the western part of Ukraine, even the poorest ones.
Moldova is one of the main destinations for refugees from Ukrainians. There were queues at the border up till 20 kilometers in the first days.
We'll speak to a lawmaker from Russia's governing party, and Germany announces it will now supply arms to Ukraine. That's all coming up on News Hour after the latest news.
BBC News with Sue Montgomery. Residents of the Ukrainian capital Kiev are spending a third night in shelters after the city survived another day of shelling and rocket fire from advancing Russian troops. These were repulsed, but the authorities warned of sabotage groups rampaging the streets. A curfew has been imposed for the whole of Sunday. And Helen is in Kiev.
There is a real sense here now that nowhere in the capital is safe. Ukraine's beleaguered President Volodymyr Zelensky took to the deserted streets, shooting a selfie video to reassure his people. I am here, he said, and we will not lay down our arms. Far from it, we found Ukrainians taking up arms, forming volunteer brigades to defend the city alongside the local police. For now, the city remains in Ukrainian hands, but the battle may be just beginning.
Satellite imagery shows Russian ground forces assembled in Novokakhovka in southern Ukraine, around a hydroelectric plant on the Dnieper River. The images, released by a private U.S. company, show trucks from the plant's dam. Earlier on Saturday, Ukrainian troops fought off an onslaught in Ukraine's second city, Kharkiv, close to the Russian border. The UN Refugee Agency says the Russian invasion has driven more than 150,000 people to flee Ukraine, the country's further west. The vast majority have gone to Poland. Officials there say more than 100 hospitals are ready to take injured Ukrainians. Ewan Watson of the Red Cross said his organization was trying to help those internally displaced within Ukraine.
The escalating conflict has just made the situation extremely difficult for the civilian population. You've got people on the move. Even within Ukraine now, we're looking at least 100,000 people who are searching for a safe haven, and the needs are just growing by the minute.
The German Chancellor says his country will deliver weapons to Ukraine in a major shift of German policy. Olaf Scholz said his government would send anti-tank weapons and surface-to-air missiles. Damien McGuinness reports.
The Russian invasion marks a turning point, said German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, as he announced that Germany would be sending 1,000 anti-tank weapons and 500 Stinger missiles directly to Ukraine. This, together with the decision to allow German-made arms to be sent to Ukraine by other countries, is also a turning point in Germany's foreign policy. Germans have been shocked by Putin's actions in Ukraine and have been demanding that their government take tougher action against the Kremlin. Now it has.
World News from the BBC. Germany has swung broadly behind proposals to cut Russia off from the global interbank payment system SWIFT. Government ministers say they're trying to establish how this could be done in a way that targets the right people without causing collateral damage. The move was welcomed by the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
It
seems that Ukraine has gained the sincere attention of the whole normal civilized world, and the practical result is here. SWIFT. How much in this word for the Russian Federation? Disconnection from global financial civilization. There is this important victory. It is billions and billions of losses for Russia, a concrete price for this vile invasion of our state.
An independent monitoring group says more than 3,000 Russians have been detained for holding anti-war protests since the invasion started in the early hours of Thursday. The OVD Info Monitor said nearly 470 people were arrested in 34 cities across Russia on Saturday alone. The Russian owner of the English Premier League club Chelsea has handed over stewardship of the club to the trustees of its charitable foundation. Roman Abramovich will retain ownership but relinquishes day-to-day control. It comes amid Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Roman Abramovich is thought to be one of Russia's richest men and is reputed to be close to President Vladimir Putin. Kieran Maguire is a football finance expert.
I think Mr. Abramovich may have been concerned that if the British government tried to seize his assets, then those assets would include Chelsea Football Club. By transferring it to the foundation, I think his legal team would be able to say that Chelsea could not be seized by the government.
BBC News.
Hello and welcome to News Hour from the BBC World Service.